Well, here's a fun video of when we went to England, and in this part of our journey, we went to Stratford upon Avon and to London, England. Now, the day started with a city tour of Stratford upon Avon, and Avon means river, so this is Stratford on the river. Well, actually, Ray took this part of the tour, and I stayed at the hotel to rest a little bit. I had hurt my foot just a little bit, so I wanted to rest it up before we got too intense with all of our walking. So he said the city was really pretty, it was really quaint, and it's always fun to be on these motor coaches because they just take you around everywhere, and all you have to do is look around and enjoy and snap a few pictures and video. So, of course, the one day I missed being on the motor coach, Ray got a front row seat. It was our turn to rotate to the front because they rotate everyone, and everyone gets a time in the front, time in the middle, and time in the back. So of course I missed my time in the front. So the claim to fame for Stratford is it's the birthplace of Shakespeare. So Ray and the ladies we met, Patricia and Angelica, went and toured Shakespeare's birthplace, and I told him to take a lot of the video and pictures to make sure I got to see it as well. So here it is. This is where William Shakespeare was born. And it's just a tradition with us. We always have to take those cheesy touristy pictures. So you were able to tour inside the house where you could see a bedroom and where they ate their meals. And then also they had an exhibit where William Shakespeare's father was a glove maker, and you could see some of the gloves he made. And then it was back to the town. You can see how charming this town is, and they have a statue of William Shakespeare right in the center of town. And then you'll never believe what's coming up next. Yep, you guessed it, another cheesy touristy picture. To me, there is nothing like strolling through a European town or city. The buildings are always just so beautiful. Actually, to me, this town actually looked a little German or Swiss. Now, we are big animal lovers. We love birds, cats, dogs, and Ray found this little pond here where it had some swans, and they came up to him, but I think they were expecting some food, and then their friends started to join them. But guys, there's no need to swim up here. He doesn't have any food to give. You're going to be disappointed. And then they found a local restaurant where they finally got to taste the famous fish and chips. And I think Ray said this was about 15 pounds, so that would probably be about $17 or $18 US. And then when they got through with their restaurant, they went walking around the town, and they found a really cool craft market where local vendors showed off their wares. Ray did buy one ornament that says life is better with a dog, because we have been wanting to get a pet dog. We haven't gotten one yet, but we are looking, and every time we see dogs, we just stop and look and ask the owners about them, see if they're friendly breeds or not. He did buy a couple little artist pieces. Like from this next artist, he bought this little mice sculpture. It has about 3 mice, and she handmade it. She did a great job. So luckily, my foot got better, and I decided to go out at night with the group, and they wanted to go see a play. Ray bought us tickets to see the Shakespearean play, The 12th Night. And we didn't know much about it, but I decided to go, and he wanted to see it, so it'd be fun to say we've seen a play. It was in the home place of Shakespeare, so it was kind of a given. We had to go see it. Now, the town was really pretty at night. It was decorated with Christmas lights, and it just gave you that really quaint feeling. We took a couple more pictures. We added one more member to our group from our big tour group. She wanted to hang out with us, and we went to the statue at night, and then we were off to find dinner. Did find this one restaurant called the Wildwood Kitchen. It was really cute, so we decided to dart in there and see what we could find. I love the atmosphere. I ended up getting a margarita pizza, and then I think one of our ladies got a Caesar salad and tiramisu. So they had all kinds of goodies for us to eat there. So then we finally got to the theater to see the Royal Shakespeare Company perform The 12th Night. Now this is what the gift shop looked like. It had a lot of cute stuff, and I think all I bought was a rubber duck shaped like Shakespeare. So this is the corridor of the theater before we went to get our seats. And when we went in, we were on the back row. We did get last minute seats, and they were about 35 pounds a seat. And we didn't know much about this play, so it was an hour and then an intermission and then another hour. So we did find our seats, and we watched the first hour of the play, but we really didn't understand too much of it. So we decided to slip on out and get an Uber and go back to the hotel so we could get a little extra rest. So that was a fun day in Stratford. It was a long day, and we did get to eat at one of the local restaurants. And we took a bunch of touristy pictures, and we got to see where Shakespeare was born, and Ray and the ladies got to see where he went to school as well. So the next morning, it was finally time to go to London, England. So we started out our day with a big breakfast at our hotel, which was the Tower Hotel, right by the Tower Bridge. It's always nice to start with a big full breakfast and kind of eat a good bit, because you never know when you're going to get lunch on these tours. So they had a good spread, and again, they had baked beans. Somebody commented on my last video that not all English people ate beans for breakfast, but every time we had a breakfast, they had beans available. So it's time to jump back on the motor coach and finally go to London, England. This was our final destination on our trip. So I tried to film a little bit of our journey through the bus window, but you can see it was a rainy day, so it's a little bit blurred, and it was a cold day as well. Our weather in England wasn't ideal. It was mainly windy, cold, and rainy. And then I finally saw our first red double-decker bus, and I was pretty excited to finally see one, but I lost the excitement soon because there were 100 of these all over the city. They were everywhere. So it was time to get off the bus for our first tour of the day. And you see it's rainy. We're following the tour group leader, and he took us to the Charles Dickens Museum. So of course, our first thing we had to do was take our traditional cheesy touristy picture. So right when we walked into the museum, the first spot you saw was the gift shop. And what I decided to buy was a Charles Dickens rubber duck. I've started collecting these at all the different stops. They're a pretty cute souvenir, and they don't take up too much room in your suitcase. Now the museum was pretty cute. They had all kinds of little trinkets and stuffed animals and books you could buy. Now since I am about to open my own museum, which is for toys, I thought this was really great. It was an electronic donation keypad where you could make donations electronically. Now the gift shop had a lot of cute little things. I really like this bowl that says, "Please sir, may I have some more?" That's from A Christmas Carol written by Charles Dickens. So they had some of his little quotes on some of the different merchandise. They also had a little snack shop with cakes and pastries you could get, and you were given this brochure when you went through this self-guided tour of his house. And the first room you got to tour was the dining room. Then of course, right after we got through the dining room, we had to take another cheesy tourist picture. I was really surprised that a lot of the rooms just had little signs that said, "Please do not touch." I thought most of this would be under like acrylic or glass, so you couldn't bother it. But they pretty much trust people there, and they just put up the signage. It's a very nice little house, and I think it was about 4 or 5 stories tall. There were a lot of steps to climb. But even though it was an older historic home, they had renovated a lot of it with modern bathroom facilities and exits to make it where the public could tour it. Now the home was filled with antiques, and if you are a Charles Dickens fan, there were all kinds of his personal items there you could check out. And there were some handwritten notes he had and the history of his books he had written. No, I think the tour lasted about 30 to 45 minutes. It was just set at your own pace. But when you're on these tour buses, they give you X amount of minutes to see everything, and you have to be back on the bus at a certain time to make sure you go to your next point on time, because it is go, go, go on these tours. Now, when you take these Gate 1 tours, they are pretty busy and fast. Like, they give you so many minutes to tour certain spots, and then you have to be right back on the bus to make sure you get to the next spot on time. So it's not a relaxing vacation. It's something that you go to get a little taste of everything. And then we got back on the tour bus, and you can see it's still raining by the drops of rain on the window, but it started to look more like London with the underground and the double-decker buses. And then all the different department stores had their really pretty Christmas windows set up, so that was really nice to see. But again, the weather was just not on our side at this trip. It was cold and rainy and windy. It was supposed to be a Christmas market tour, but because of the weather, some of it was canceled. The big market we were supposed to go to, Winter Wonderland, was canceled that day. So as a backup plan, they took us to the V&A Museum, which is the Victoria and Albert Museum, which it was huge and beautiful and had a lot of historic relics in it. But we just weren't really in the mindset to go to the museum and stayed there all day. So we did take our little touristy picture, and then when we went into the museum, we decided we would just go see the fashion display, and then we would go out on our own. And this is a little bit of video of what the lobby looked like when you walked into the Victoria and Albert Museum. And in the fashion part of the museum, they did have a big Naomi Campbell exhibit, but when we got in there, we realized you did have to pay extra if you wanted to view that exhibit. Now, this museum was free to the general public, and in the fashion department, they had many outfits and costumes from the different decades, some from the 17 and 1800s all the way until the 21st century. Now, to be honest, we did not go around looking at which designer was from each piece because we just really weren't in the museum frame of mind. We were more in the Christmas market frame of mind. So we decided to kind of cut it short on the museum a little bit and go out and explore on our own to see if we could find any little street vendors or Christmas markets or little shops. Now, before we did slip out, we did go check out a couple other areas of the museum that were beautiful, and this place is humongous. I wish I had this kind of space for my toy museum, but it'd be way too big for me. But I wish I had maybe 3 rooms of this place. It is so huge. They have so much space. And I think you can make a whole day out of visiting this place. I don't think you could actually see it all in a day. So right when we went outside, they actually had some touristy spots you could take pictures at. They had a double-decker bus parked there, and they had one of the famous red telephone booths you could take pictures in. So of course, being the cheesy tourists we are, we decided to take pictures at both of those places. We really didn't find many souvenir shops or anything, but we did find a couple little spots we could get a couple little pastry snacks at. So after the museum tour, we got back on the bus, and he felt bad that we weren't getting to see as many Christmas markets as we were because they had been canceled. He did find us one in the city that was still going on, and it was humongous, and it was packed. That's one word I would use to describe our trip to London this year, is packed. It was so busy and so many people, you could never find space to do what you wanted to because there's just so many people there. I think the only negative thing I would say about the Gate 1 trip would be, like, the museum was a plan B stop. This really wasn't a museum stop, and we ended up having like 2 hours there to explore. And then when we went to the Christmas market, it was supposed to be a Christmas market tour, they gave us like 40 minutes there, and it was so big you really had to rush and almost run back to the bus to get there on time. It wasn't enough time to shop, and that's what I thought the trip was going to be. And this place was just huge, and it had so many different sections. We didn't really find the really good section until it's almost time to leave, so that's when we really had to rush to kind of get through it to see if there were any little trinkets and souvenirs we wanted to buy. Now, I really did not buy a ton of things, but I did find this one vendor I really liked. There were these little hand crocheted animals and dolls, and they spent a lot of time making these, but they were a little pricey. But I did see these little Queen Elizabeth dolls that were just adorable, and they were 35 pounds, which is probably more like $45 US, but I did end up picking up one of those. And then also we saw this vendor that had the crocheted flowers, and I did get myself a little poppy, and I got one of my friends one for Christmas. They had a couple other little things that were super cute, but we couldn't buy everything. And you know what? At the end of this trip, our suitcase was pretty packed. We did not get to try these strawberries and cream, but I really wanted to taste that. I think if we come back, I'm definitely getting those. That's a good little sweet snack. And this vendor at the market had some really unique items. They were all kinds of little critters and motorcycles and bicycles and people made out of twisted wire. They were wire sculptures. So we stopped here and got several little things. We got some things to take home to people and some things to keep for ourselves. So this is really what I was expecting for our trip, these Christmas markets, and we did get to do a couple of them, but I would have liked to have seen more of these markets on the trip, because that's what the trip was advertised for. But all in all, a great day, a great experience, and we got to see a lot of really cool things. Now, this is when we pulled up to our hotel to check into. It was right by the Tower Bridge. That was beautiful at night, and it looked like they had a little Christmas market going on there. And then this was our view outside our window every day. It was a little marina that was really pretty. This was the lobby when you walked into the Tower Hotel, decorated for Christmas. And this is the little button outside of our room that said if we needed service or anything. And this is what our room looked like. It was a decent room. And then you see we had the really pretty view of the marina. So once we got checked into the room, we decided to go out and see what that little Christmas market under the bridge was about. And it was mainly food vendors. So we had not had dinner yet. So we decided to go in and get something there. And we got these bratwurst hot dogs that were huge. They were good, but it was too much to finish. It was a lot of food. And here are all my goodies I bought throughout the day. I did get the Charles Dickens rubber duck. He was about 8 or 9 pounds. And I got a Charles bobblehead that was about 11 pounds. I'm a big sucker for toys, but since I'm opening up a toy museum, these are the perfect little keepsakes. I got these little wire figures from the Christmas market. I'm going to put on our Christmas tree. They were 2 pounds each. And I got this little handmade wire umbrella that was 5 pounds. I got the really cute crocheted Queen Elizabeth. She was 35 pounds, but somebody put a lot of work into her. Then I did get the little crocheted flowers, one for me and one to give as a gift. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying some of our travel videos we're making going to England. And remember, our channel also consists of valuing our toy collection and beauty pageants. So again, thanks for watching, and you guys have a fantastic week.